Alexa, stop. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday, and it's been a little while since I put a video out, but I wanted to connect with you guys because um, I've got a pretty important message today. So, for anyone who's new, my name is Joshua Betancourt, and I am a certified NLP practitioner, amongst other things. And this channel is dedicated to kind of the idea of transformation and growth. We talk about subjects related to the mind, consciousness, neurolinguistic programming, how things are processed emotionally, mentally, as well as kind of esoteric concepts related to, meditation and just kind of awakening in general. So thanks for being here with me, and I really appreciate your time. And this is Paradigm Shifting. So I'll keep today's talk as short as possible. It's been one of my goals recently, and I will say that I was a little bit hesitant about how to come up and talk about this topic today because it kind of hit home for me. So I have a family member who recently lost a mother-in-law to COVID, and yeah, it was, I'm not directly connected to that relationship, so it's not as impactful as it, for me as it is for my cousin. But um, she had posted a request for prayers recently, and a response that she received kind of was just relative to um, she got called out for the use of profanity and the use of language, and the call out was, hey, you can't kind of use that type of language and request prayers, right, and request you know that and think that it's going to work. So that bothered me a little bit, and I wanted to talk about it, and because I think it's an important topic to differentiate the two things. So that's what this talk is about today. It's about kind of the energetic frequencies that we hold and how that relates to kind of, how you put yourself out in the world and the things that you request of, the divine, or, whatever your faith is, right? How you kind of have that communion with, that higher power, that divine power. So my immediate response to that situation was, wow, that's off, right? Because there's no way that any use of language can ever separate me from my true nature, or what it is that I am, or where it is that I exist, right? So the idea for me, and this is personal, right? But the idea for me to think of, someone being able to kind of have an expression or resonate in an energetic frequency, that being enough to exclude them from what it is that they're existing in the moment, it's just it doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. So, I posted a quick response saying something to the effect of, do you think if I use a profane word, or if I curse, right, that, God's not going to allow me the opportunity to have communion, right? And however you translate that. And for me, that just seems ridiculous. What really, I think, is important to mention, though, is that there is a sense of truth in the idea of the frequency at which you resonate really determines the way that the world responds to you, right? And what I mean by that is, yeah, we can use negative words, we can use negative language, we can use the power of the word for either positive or negative. And if you resonate in one or the other, that's going to determine the outcome of how you're received. So Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements talks about the power of the word, and the first agreement is the impeccable word, and that really is the idea of carrying yourself in truth and integrity, right, in every relationship and everything that you do, even the relationship that you have with yourself, right, using truth and honesty as a tool, right, for kind of integrity and honor in everything that you do. And when you do that, that alone has the power to transform your life, right? Because if I'm honest with myself about, something that isn't serving my best interest or serving my higher purpose, if I'm honest with myself, then I'll either change that, make an attempt to change that, or remove myself from it. And in that, the word does carry power, right? In that idea. The same if I am completely focused on being negative, right? If my entire outlook on the world is, how do I get over, or how do I manipulate someone, or how do I, you know, do something, right, in order to improve my position with a negative intent, then obviously I'm going to find myself in those situations, and the outcome of my life is going to be associated with that negative frequency and negative intent. So while I understood where that person was coming from when they made their comment, I also think that they were completely wrong and out of line, in the sense that, if I'm dealing with a traumatic issue, I might say a curse word. I might swear, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm resonating in a frequency that is contrary to, being um, open or capable of receiving, right, good intent or good energy, or, good thoughts from the universe, from, my family, from my friends, or what have you. So I wanted to point that out, and the power of the word. And then I wanted to take that, kind of a step further, from the sense of how incredible it is that we as human beings have that power, have that capability. And what I mean by that is that, I think it's like a 4 billion to 1 chance that you can be born as a human, like that you turn out to be a human, 4 billion to 1, something to that effect. And in that, right, the amazing experience that we have, right? We have a very, very sophisticated means of communication that's not only, language driven, but it's driven by subtle communication of, the physical expression of your body, the way that you carry yourself, tonality, all of these other components that really bring together the whole picture of how we communicate and interact with our environment. So we've got this really sophisticated means of communication. We are conscientious beings who are kind of aware of all of the circumstances related to our environment, to the temporary nature of life, to, this whole inner and outer expression and experience that we call life, right? Within that, we can feel and we can sense, sorry about that, within that, we have these amazing sensory perceptions that give us these small inclinations and inklings of how frequency is taking place. We can tell when someone's angry, when someone's upset, without them saying anything. We can tell when we walk into a room of jovial people and people that are happy that, hey, this is going to be a good time, right? So all of these, right, subtle sensory capabilities that we have, it's amazing, right? It's amazing. So we've got that. Then we've got, our emotional awareness that, we understand what it feels like to fluctuate between joy and sadness, depression, and elation, or, all of these other kind of emotional experiences that we've defined and communicated as, a way of being. And then I think the most important thing, right, and that a lot of us miss, I don't know if a lot of us miss it, but maybe we don't think about it as often, is our ability to really redirect our focus and redirect our consciousness so that we might be able to change any one of those things, whether it's the physical expression by working out, or whether it's kind of the emotional challenges that we might be dealing with through, some form of therapy or meditation or whatever it might be. The amazing thing is that we have the ability to really redirect our consciousness to actually make implicit changes to those internal realities, and in turn impact the external reality that we have. So it's a fascinating idea to me, in the sense that no matter what it is that we're going through, right? No matter what challenges that we have, or maybe we're not dealing with challenges, maybe we're in the process of building, multi-million-dollar company, where we give our attention and where we place our consciousness is really going to determine the number of options and the flexibility that we have in order to cause and create change in our external expression as well as our internal expression. And for me, that was really at the core of what I was talking about as it relates to kind of the energetic frequency that we carry, right? The intent that we carry in our words that translates into, the quality of the relationships that we have with the people that we love, or the people that we work with, or the people that we interact with. So, it all comes back down to this principle-based way of being and of living, where, if my thoughts and my emotions are in alignment with the goodwill, right, with, making situations win-win for everyone who's involved, and making an effort to leave the world a little bit better than I found it, right? Then obviously it doesn't matter if you say the occasional swear word or curse word or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you say the occasional. The truth is that your being and the energy of your being is in alignment with kind of that higher frequency or that higher flow, which is taking you wherever you want to go. And the opposite is true, right? If you are in the mind stuck in a mind state of depression or negative intent or ill intent towards others, then you're in that lower frequency, that flow that may lead you to a different place and a different outcome. So I wanted to just express that because I hope that it provides a little bit of clarity. I'm a firm believer in how you direct your intent, right, and where you direct your focus, and how that creates the experience that you have. So I just wanted to maybe put words to it to help people who may be confused about the idea that if you have a bad day, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a bad life, right? Or if you deviate from kind of a principle that you are living for a moment, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're condemned and subject to living out the rest of your life that way. In my opinion, it just doesn't work that way, right? So yeah, that was the message for today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it resonates and that it makes a difference. You guys are wonderful as always. Hit me up on the group, or hit me up on YouTube, as this is going to get pushed out to YouTube. And I hope that you're all well. I hope that you're all doing okay, and that your families are safe and healthy. And I love each and every one of you, and I really, really mean that. All right, you guys take care.